She had no chance of surviving. I gotta jump! Rip the fang out. She too was covered in blood. Her own. The catacomb. An enormous prison, without cages or chains. The young, the decrepit, old, the healthy, the crippled. He used to be a servant of Akal himself. I want to give you a chance to join us. Run away. To rot here or to believe it, and try to escape. Which one is better? His heart was beating all over again. He was uneasy. This conversation with Oil distracted him a little, but now he found himself back at Dill's place. Ah, it's you. Lavesh. Her voice was weak, but she didn't look bad. Is she alright? She is. We Severans are not so easy to kill. I'll leave you for a while. Has, what you did. I can't even put it into words. What happened? Were you thrown into the arena because of me? What have the servants told them about our meetings? And when I was given this Crotus, I was supposed to mate with him. Kara forgave me, you see, in a way. You killed him? I hit him in the neck with a sharp stone, and then was the arena. Most lizards resign themselves from their slave position. And it's not just indifference, it's the outery of slavery. Indifferent attitude towards each other, or worse, the desire to harm one another solely to gain favor with the masters, who are incapable of appreciating such a gesture anyway. It's over. Is it? Be happy if it were true, but we're arena lizards now. Now we die in the arena or in these catacombs. It's not the life I wanted to spend with you. Rush did not notice any despair in her eyes or her voice. At that moment he vividly remembered what particularly attracted him to Kira. Perhaps they were always ready for such things, though they never admitted it. We're running away from here. Run away. Hez, you're such a dreamer. He told her everything Alu had told him. There was bewilderment in Kira's eyes. One could blame her for that. Rose himself could hardly believe that they could go against the will of the masters and escape punishment. But by the minute he was getting more and more used to the idea. Gradually the idea of escaping from the city in the sun began to seem completely natural and normal. Lavesh even began to wonder why such thought never occurred to him before. Lavesh already knew the answer he'd given you. They fell asleep on the floor. He was dreaming of the wind. It was blowing in his face, cool, unpleasant, stiff. Such wind never blows in the city of the sun. It was easy to breathe. There was no trees around. An open field with grass faded yellow. The sky was gray. Hers could not see the sun. He was watching the outer clouds, which he had never seen before, and they were beautiful. Hez. He turned around. Kira was standing nearby. She had a tiny creature in her arms. It had dark scales, shortened tail, and a pair of large eyes. As he took a step towards her, the clouds, which seemed so heavy and hard, cracked open, and the brightest sunlight fell on Kira and the baby. The silence was broken by an eerie scream of Kira as her body began to melt. The path of light led to a figure in the clouds. He was blinded by the bright light, and then he opened his eyes. Lavesh was breathing heavily. Pounding of his heart echoed in his mind. He felt an unnatural confusion. It was strange to suddenly see impenetrable darkness instead of bright light. The dream was so real I could still feel the scalding heat, even though it was dark and damp in the caves. This twitched when Kira put his hand on his shoulder. What's the matter, Hez? I had a nightmare. Nightmare? What was it about? I saw you, our child, at a call. Something happened to me? It's just a nightmare. And what did our child look like? I didn't get a chance to see it up close. I'm sure it would be beautiful, just like you. And as brave, just like his father. Only brave? Much more than just brave, and it will be like that, if we survive. I bring good news. Beth shuddered. The whole seemed to appear out of thin air. Neither of you nor Kira will be in the arenas today. Thinks the masters want to set up something between the two of you when Kira gets better. Sure, your masters insist on this punishment because of their wounded pride. Tehil, can you arrange a meeting with Eul for us? Are you ready to give him an answer? Alright, I'll help. Havash and Kira returned to the room where Havash had previously met Eul. Lil was already waiting for them, somewhere in the dark. It was almost possible to see him. He wasn't alone. There were other lizards sitting along the walls. So I'm glad you decided to find me yourself, even though it was risky. What made you think that Tehil can be trusted? Last time he knew you wanted to meet me, I'm sure you would know him quite well. That's true. Tehil is helping us even though he's not going to run away. Is he not? Tehil is kind. I think he wants to help our people. He is favored because he is Akal's personal servant. There aren't that many of you. I carefully picked those I could trust. The stories of us, including your own, teach us that not all of our brothers can be trusted. Many still expect forgiveness of their masters. We have guards on our sides, they will help us. How many have managed to persuade them? Ha! I got a trick or two up my sleeve. We leave after sunset. My friends will stop by and pick you up. Hazel and Kira were once again left alone in the dark. Other civilians hurried out of the passageway, some even peeping into the room, just walked past, noticing Hazel and Kira's dark silhouettes. Kira hugged Fuzz, cuddling up to him. He held her gently. Do you think we'll make it? Can we live happily outside Sarah? Of course we will. We all will. I'm a little afraid. Afraid of all this that proved the part of punishment prepared for all of us, the masters. As if they gave us hope just to take it away. I know what you mean. It had crossed my mind too, but there is little choice for us. If we don't take our chances, we will just die. Either the arena or right here underground. I think the same way. They spent the whole day together, snuggled up. I always dreamt of sitting like this, not hiding from the others and not thinking about what someone would say about it. The masters are Aversarian. No one cared about them at all. The lizard guard looked in on them soon. Havash understood that he was one of the allies. They followed him. Havash noticed the other lizards were joining them one by one. They were moving at different paces, at different distance from each other, but all in the same direction. He recognized some of them. They were present when he talked to Olu last time. Now they were approaching a wall, which looked quite ordinary and distinctive. Two guards stepped up to it. The earth wall split, opening a large crevice. Saurians were divided inside. Freedom was just about 10 feet from them. Havash followed others. Avil wasn't among them. He might have rushed forward. He was anxious to see the world outside Sarah. Suddenly, Havash noticed fear in the lizard's eyes. The tunnel was getting narrow. The wall behind them was already closed up, cutting off the way back, and the way out was blocked by guards. What did Avil say? On our side, it's unlikely. They had to act quickly. Stun them. Our brothers often betrayed each other, but I do not want to stoop to traitors and the masters. We just stun them, can't we? The fight was over quick enough. The left guards in the tunnel finally emerged on the surface. The city was quiet. Servants rarely wandered around the city at night, but the only ones assigned to some night's tasks. The masters rarely showed themselves at night, either. They moved quietly between tall walls and rare houses. The Akal sometimes liked to sit in silence, so the arena was almost exactly adjacent to the damp floor. Suddenly there was a scream near the arena. They ran. Havash sprinted. Kira was keeping up with them. They had to cross the forest as quickly as possible. The fact that the land of Sarah itself did not rebel against them meant that the masters were not yet aware of their escape. There was terror in the eyes of the many fugitives. Havash felt his heart beating frantically, not from running but the other pervading sense of disaster. A peal of thunder. They knew it was not the elements they tried to stop them, but they continued running. On the contrary, they ran even faster, even though it seemed not possible. The ground trembled. Tree branches twisted unnaturally, and they were making their way into the Saurians. There was a howl and growling everywhere. Wild animals were now on a hunt for them. But it was just a prelude. trees began to twist, whipping spears like branches. First thought they were just trying to block their way, but now to the corner of their eyes he saw branches of a willow tree pierce the body of another fugitive. Gus grabbed Kira by the arm, tried to keep her in sight. He managed past the trees, though they slowed their pace a little. The chasm opened in the ground. One of the fugitives fell in such chasm, the ugly earthy mouth immediately closed in on him, crushing his bones. Breaking the trees as it ran, the beast of the kind saw that the arena rushed, separate. Lizards from each other. The 3 lizards, including one fugitive guards, were killed in one move. It was madness. Rush could not even fathom he was still alive. As her foot landed rapidly on an narrowing hole, Rush grabbed Kira by the belt. He pulled her up, perhaps even a little too hard. Juz managed to grasp her foot, but Huz nearly ripped it from the ground grass. Kira screamed. Mila realized that she would not be able to walk without even looking at the mess her foot had turned into. He threw Kira on his back. She clung tightly to him. Her breathing was shallow, but she was alive. He ran as fast as he could before Kira was quite light to him. Damn. But the lizard's legs were pierced by the branches. He was barely standing on all fours. His head for a moment slowed, his face was so solid. Run, idiot. Run. Bose was not seeing the monster's claws seizing Hill's back, mercilessly biting off the lizard's head. He ran for a long time. He ran without notice of the fatigue. It took a moment to realize the surrounding movement had stopped. There was no thunder above them. Realizing, he began to slow down. Ahead was a vast space free of trees. Low grass, a strip of forest somewhere in the distance. The brightening sky was covered by chaotic swarms of clouds. Behind was a wall of dark trees. They escaped Svara. Lars could not believe his eyes. It was like a dream. There was no scorching heat. The slight chill in the air he had never felt in Sarah. Wild grass seemed soft. Svaran grass was mostly herb with large thick leaves that ran below its stems. Haz. Rose knelt down, expecting Kira to manage to get off. He held her up, mindful of her injured leg, and she collapsed to the ground, breathing heavily. Oh. Blood oozed profusely from her back. No, when? The branches must have pierced her body. A chill ran down her back. They were meant for her, but she seemed to be a living shield. His hands trembled. It's all because of me. Kira looked at his hands. These were the best days of my life. Have you ever seen such a beautiful sky? And the grass is so soft. Why would I need any of this without you? Thank you. Her eyes went glassy. Buzz could not suppress his feelings. He never thought of his own salvation, never dreamt of seeing a free land like Ilo, nor did he flee from the death like others. He only wished to be from Kira. But in the end, he only survived. It seemed like another mockery of the call. The maddening fatigue took over him. He had neither the strength nor the will to get up. Harris lay down in the grass beside the breathless Kira, as if hoping things would be different after sleep. Should they ever end up back in the perilous dungeons? He fell asleep.